Hello and welcome everybody, it's Matt from PRMGG here, doing a Grand Archive first impressions of the starter decks for Grand Archive Dawn of Ashes. I got together with Mark from Solar Games, he's another YouTube channel, and he's really into Grand Archive at the moment. I've been checking out games like Alpha Clash and Wyvern, and basically any other card game that looks interesting to me. Not Sorcery don't really look that interesting to me, quite frankly. I don't know. I just don't get it. And the appeal just isn't there for me. I've watched the gameplay of it. It looks fairly boring. But what really is cool though is the mana. I like different mana. I mean, I guess Sorcery does the same thing, but like with the mana being different, they have like lands kind of. But the way that the mana works in this is you get to like basically put cards face down from your hand and then like pay for the cost. So that seems cool. I like that. You have your standard starter deck here. And then, but the really cool thing is that in the starter decks, each starter deck has a chance for a randomly inserted CSR, which is a collector super rare. And so far I've opened 3. I bought one of each just for having. And I also bought a booster box that'll open later on. And so far, no super rare. But what about this one? Here's the quick start QR code if you want to scan it and check the game out. And let's get a super rare. I mean, obviously Lorraine would have been the best one. The very first one that I looked at, that's the best starter deck collector super rare. But you know, well, I don't know why they start at level 2. I mean, so basically the way it works is you're supposed to start at level 0. It goes to 2, then it goes to 1, 2, 3. So the way it works is your hero has an element. And you go, I start with this element, and you're level 0 with 15 HP, and then as you level up, you go to 1, then 2, then 3, and you get higher HP, and then you get more abilities. This must be the Storm character. So it has like these Enlightened counters that as you level up, you get these Enlightened counters, and you're able to probably do things as well. There's probably cards in the deck. I did watch this guy. He's like a Storm character. It seems like Storm direct damage, something like that, where you're just kind of like building Enlightened counters, and then you're like burning equal to the Enlightened counters, so you want to like get high Enlightened and then like burn them down. So this is actually one of the, I think it might have been Lorraine versus Ray, the only game I've ever watched. So this one enters the battlefield to put 2 Enlightened counters on Ray, and you may remove 3 Enlightened counters to draw a card. That's just a standard ability. So you want to get Enlightened counters, draw cards, get Enlightened counters, burn them out. That's what I assume this deck does. Ray Archmage, Ray Lineage, so you have to level it up from level 1. You can't just skip there. Inherited effect. Whenever you activate your first mage action card each turn, you put an Enlightened counter on your champion, so that's a good way to get your encounters, or you get your Enlightened counters. Just every mage action card is a Enlightened counter. And then Storm Seer. Ray gets +1 level for each arcane element spell card in your banishment. Banishment is like exile, I believe, and so +1 level for each card in your banishment. That seems strong, especially when there are cards that reference your total level, and then they do like damage equal to your total level, I think. So this is your material deck. Crystal of Empowerment. Banish this and get 2 levels until end of turn. Excellent. Endura Scepter of Ignition. Tap it. Remove an Enlightened counter from your champion. Deal 1 damage. Activate as a sorcery. Interesting. Life Essence. I mean, this seems to be in every one of the starter decks. It seems maybe it's a staple. I don't know. Maybe people will just remove it because it seems kind of whatever. But whenever an ally you control dies while it's not your turn, banish this, and then you get to draw a card. So it seems kind of lame. Mana Limiter. You can't remove Enlightened counters from your champion to pay for costs. Could you do that before? You banish and draw a card. Activate this only if your champion has 6 or more Enlightened counters. That seems like a lot of hoops to do just to draw a card. You can't remove Enlightened counters from your champion to pay for costs. And then you can only buy the, I don't know, that seems weird. Maybe, okay, so is it a mage? Okay, so it's a mage bauble. I wonder if that counts as a mage action card. Because then it would give your hero the +1 level. Whenever an opponent declares an attack with a unit for the 3rd time each turn, you may banish Surveillance Stone, draw a card. So if they attack you 3 times, you get to draw a card, and only 1 time. These seem very bad. But again, if it counts as a mage thing for your level, then it makes sense. Mage Book. Your champion gets 1 level just while it's out there, and then you can banish it to draw a card. So you can trade a level to draw a card. Just see that like this. Just draw a card. Activate this. Oh no, hold on. Activate this ability only if it controls a water element. That seems bad. But again, if it counts for the mage thing, then it's fine probably. Arcanist Prism. At the beginning of your recollection phase, Put all cards from your memory on the bottom of your deck in any order, then draw that many cards. Ooh, it's a way to get like a new hand. Is that just, that's an artifact, it just stays out there maybe? Interesting. Is that a super rare? Ooh, super rare. It says down here at the bottom. Common, Barrier Servant, Intercept, 2/2, remove 2 enlightened counters from your champion. The next time damage would be dealt to Barrier Servant this turn, prevent it. Huh, interesting. A couple of those good blockers maybe. Careful Study, that wizard looks strange. Efficiency, this card costs level less to activate. Level refers to your champion's level, okay? Put 5 enlightened counters on your champion. You may remove 3 counters from your champion to draw a card. So, oh, it costs 8. Holy crap! So the higher level your character is, the easier it is to get, the easier it is to pay for this. Because otherwise, holy crap, that's a very expensive card. 2 of those. Idle Thoughts. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck and then put them back in any order. Okay, and then Floating Memory. I like this Floating Memory. I like that very much. Library Witch. What a good-looking library. Intercept and on death draw a card for 0/1. Oh, that's not very good. Just like a blocker for whatever. 3, 4 of those. Maybe this is the type of card that is like just basically there to bide time. Because it seems like this deck really wants to go for the late game. Magus Disciple. Your champion gets +1 level. That's good. On death, draw a card. Great, okay. Another one on death, draw a card. Kind of get that advantage in there. Peer into mana. Put 2+ level enlightened counters on your champion. So 4 mana. That could be really good. So if you've got, I don't know, 6, you just put 8 enlightened counters on there for 4 mana? Seems strong. For a common. Scry the Skies. Oh, the other deck had this. You glimpse, which is basically Scry. From Magic, if you're familiar with Magic, draw a card into your memory. So you glimpse, and then you look at the top cards, and you can put them back on top or bottom in any order, and then you put one into your memory, which is basically like drawing a card for the next turn. Oh, here we go. Fire. Blitz Mage. So it's just a 3/1, a generic 3/1 for 3. Just to get some extra damage in there, maybe. 3 of those. Creative Shock. Draw 2 cards and discard a card. Okay, Faithless Looting. Class bonus, if a fire elemental card was discarded, you may choose a unit and deal 2 damage to it. Okay, so a little bit of direct burn and draw. I like that. Costs way more than Faithless Looting, 3 versus 1. But you have to remember also that the cards that you're putting down, they're not permanently gone unless you use them for the material phase, I think. I've never played the game, I'm just guessing. I think I'm right, but as initial cost to activate this card, I don't activate. What does activate mean? That's one thing I don't know. Out of looking at all 3 decks, I don't know what activate means. Activate, in my opinion, is like casting. That's how it sounds. Like when you can only cast this card if you sacrifice an ally, and then you can draw 2 cards. That makes sense to me. So that must be what it is. Because otherwise, activate would be like if this card's like face down in a zone or something, or face up in a zone, you can activate it. But then if you're like, it's slow, so it looks like it's an action card. Anyways. Disintegrate. 8 mana. Holy. Efficiency. Costs 1 less for each level. Okay. What does it do? Oh, destroy target ally or regalia. Disintegrate. Only 1 of those. 8 mana. Quite a lot. Fireball. Okay, that's better. 4 mana. And no efficiency. But this card costs 2 less to activate. What? Deal 1+ level damage to target unit. Level refers to your champion's level. Why not LVL? This is a little weird. Why LV? But so class bonus. What does that mean? Apply this effect only if your champion's class matches this card's class. So does this just to prevent you? Isn't it always going to? Mage, human. I'm guessing. Okay, so you have to at least have level 1. Okay, I'm guessing. Or maybe it's to prevent you from playing it in like a non-mage deck. Like it just becomes really, really bad otherwise. So that seems pretty good. Good finisher spell. 4 of those. That makes sense. It's a very strong card. Flame Rune Swordsman. Floating Memory. I like that. Stop it. 2/2 for a 3, but it can be used to pay for other cards later on down the road. 2 of those. Focused Flames. Class bonus. Cost 1 less to activate. Deal 4 damage to target ally. Slow. Don't like slow, but it makes sense. Ignite the Soul, deal 1 damage to target unit, and then it can pay for something later on. That's basically a free damage point. I like that. There's probably a ton of... You can probably even just kill your own things that draw cards. Get them, fill your graveyard with stuff. On attack, your champion gets +1 level until end of turn. So they're just standard. They're basically just there to like raise your level of your hero. They're kind of suicide. But I mean, for a 1/3, depending on how attacks work, if you can choose blocks or choose what you attack. Efficiency costs less to your... Okay, so it deals 2 damage to all units except for your champion. Class bonus deals 3 damage to those units instead. 2 damage to all units except for your champion. So I'm guessing your champion must be a unit as well. Interesting. I did not know that. 8 mana, but it costs level less. Okay. Anger the Skies. Oh, this is a blue-red deck. Okay. Oh yeah, what did the thing say? This is a Fire Mage. That makes sense. And this is... Oh, it's Arcane. And then this is Fire? Yeah. Makes sense. So Anger the Skies deals 3 damage to allies. Class bonus deals 4 damage to those allies instead. Okay. Seems pretty good. Nice little board wipe. Oh yeah, here we go. It's it costs 11, but it costs level less to activate, equal to your champion's level. So if you can pump your level up, you just deal 11 to target champion. So this makes sense. So it's like super costly. But if you can get your... Oh my god, there's 4 of these things? Holy. These common? Uncommon. Okay, just, you know, deal a third of their HP in one card. Draw 2 cards at the beginning of your next end phase. Discard your hand. Class bonus, draw a card. Oof. I mean, I guess it's a pretty good draw, but discard your hand. Don't like that. Well, I guess if you put... I guess that's fine. Because if you pay for the cards to put them into memory, then you don't have to discard anything. You're just drawing 3 cards for free. You just put them in your memory. I wonder if you could put them in your memory to not have to, like, if you don't pay a cost for something. I have to imagine you can find a way to spend your mana if you're drawing 3 cards. Or spend the cards from your hand, which are basically mana, is what I'm trying to say. Arcane Sight. Your champion gets +1 level until end of turn. Draw a card. Okay, sure. That's just kind of free level up for your hero. And 3 of those. And then Power Over Channeling. 0 cost. Remove any amount of Enlightened counters from your champion. Your champion gets +1 level for each counter removed this way until end of turn. But doesn't Enlightened counters give you the level anyways? Ray gets +1 level for each arcane element. Oh, okay. I guess the Enlightens don't give you level. Oh, I thought the Enlightened counters gave you levels. I guess that makes sense, because if they did, they'd be insane. But in this case, it does. So you can use this if you have like 10, make your character like level 13, and then like everything is just like giga free. All those burn spells. And then Spell Shield Arcane, class bonus. This card costs 1 less to activate, so it would be 2. The next time damage will be dealt to your champion this turn, prevent that damage, but any amount of Enlightened counters on your champion equal to the amount of damage prevented this way. Oh, in the mirror, this would be nuts. I mean, they try to hit you for 11, and you're like, nope. And then for 2 damage, you negate 11 damage, and then you get 11 Enlightened counters. So, can you activate your dude's ability, Enlighten? Let's see here. How does this read? You may remove 3 Enlightened counters from your champion to draw a card. Can you do that any time? Because that'd be wild. I mean, I guess it doesn't necessarily matter, but it doesn't say as a sorcerer or anything, so, huh. Ray seems interesting. I don't hate it. Definitely seems blue mage-like. I don't know how good it is, but Ray seems pretty strong. I guess the thing is you kind of have to like buy your time enough to get high enough level to really, you know, send the damage out. And you really only have those 4 cards to do a ton of damage, so, very interesting. Yeah, Ray seems interesting. So I would say in order of best to worst, let me put it back in the box here. As far as like my first impressions of the decks, I would have to go something like this, which I can zoom out here. So these would be my order of best to least liked as far as first impressions. I didn't play any of them, so I don't even know. But like this seems super fun. This I was told is strong, so my perception. I honestly think, realistically, judging by my very small window of knowledge, I would like this would probably be more fun because it's more like explosive. But this is probably just gonna beat this deck before this deck does anything. So that's probably why I'm like, okay, so like this deck seems really cool and flashy, but does it ever get there? I mean, it probably does sometimes, but Lorraine might just beat him to the face before he even gets a chance to really pop off. And then the Sylvie deck, I don't know, it's like a summoner deck where like it uses like allies and like, I don't know. I have to play it to see. But yeah, those are my first impressions of each starter deck. And then I've got a box to open and hope to pull some cool cards. No flashing cards in the starter decks, but maybe the box will have something good. So that'll be coming next. Thanks for watching. See you next time.